And welcome to Off the Glass once again, the Oak Ridge High School basketball show. And today it's going to be the Robertsville Middle School Lady Rams also involved with our show. Joining me is assistant coach Lauren Trent of the Oak Ridge High School Lady Wildcats. Coach Redmond couldn't join us here today. She's actually coaching, but she's not coaching the Lady Wildcats. I think she's coaching her fourth grade son, Cutler.
She is. I think they had a little AAU thing tonight to kick it off, so she is with him, and he couldn't be more excited.
Well, Coach, you're in your fifth year. I think you came with Coach Redmond when she took over the position, and I think your background, I guess, is one of the enemy teams of the past. Was it Hardin Valley, I believe, where you played? And you played against us, I believe, too.
Yes, we did. We had some good matchups against you guys, against Coach Pruden when she was there, and then 1 year with David Scott. Yeah,
so you came over here knowing the tradition of Oak Ridge High School Lady Wildcat basketball for sure.
Definitely. I can remember, I think in middle school was when Kiki Stewart played, and there's a ton of tradition here that's been long-standing.
Well, let's talk about the last two ball games. We'll go back to the Friday game. Needed a win. You went to Campbell County, always a tough place to play. The last 2 years, they were the co-champions with you in the district standings, and you needed a win there to be co-champions again, which I know the PAL game kind of took you out of being the sole champions. But you went up there and played really well, I thought, against Campbell County.
We did. We thought we played really well. We knew it would be a physical game. We knew it would be one that, start to finish, that we were going to have to play well in and defend well, and I thought we did that. That's a tough place to play, and it is every single year, and it was a must-win game for us if we wanted to, be tied going into the district tournament as the 1 seed.
All I know is that for the first time in the history of ever, Paige Redmond actually won a number draw today. I mean, because the last couple of years, the co-champions with Campbell County, the number was drawn, and we were the number 2 seed. But this year, she did it. Your team will be the number 1 seed.
Yes. Paige and I joke all the time. If anything can happen, it can happen to one of us. Together, we don't have the best luck. But, our girls were excited today that they were going to be able to go into the district tournament as the 1 seed.
Coach, Dylan, let's roll some of the Campbell County highlights played from last Friday. Always a tough place to play, Campbell County. There's a Robertsville highlights right here. But let's go to Campbell County here. We'll get those in. There we go. Campbell County, like I said, always a tough place to play. And especially, and you'll see her coming in the picture, I think, in a moment, Madison Brady. Seems like she's played there there she is right there, number 43.
She's been around a long time. We'll be glad for her to go play at Tech with Jada.
Yeah, it seems like the entire 5 years that you've coached, that she was a senior back then, but she does a lot of things that really causes you all difficulties, and because she just is so good. I mean, she's a wide person anyway, and she rebounds well, but she's really nice around the goal too.
She is, and we knew going in, she had been hurt, and we knew she was coming back, and we knew she'd be ready to play. It was their senior night and her last time playing in that arena, and Rajay has guarded her for several years, and I thought Rajay played as well as she could have played, offensively and defensively.
Yeah, right there was just a really nice post move against Brady. But here's something we see, game in and game out. Kamari Mitchell-Steen getting a steal, taking it down, scoring. And, of course, Bree Dunbar is Bree Dunbar. She's been doing this for 4 years, too. And, I was telling Coach Redmond before the game on the radio after some of the games that I thought that Campbell County would want to play the spoiler because, they had no opportunity to win the championship this year. They've been co-champions. But they could have played spoiler on Friday night, but your girls took care of business for sure.
They did. And Campbell County, and it's such a rivalry these last couple of years, and they always play so hard against us, and that's one reason we knew we had to come out and we had to play well.
Honestly, before your time, it has been a rivalry since day one. Campbell County has actually beaten us more than any other team in history. 18 times they've beaten us. I'm happy to say we've beaten them 100 times. But, eight for our storied program, 18 is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
it is.
And a lot of those have come, during, championship games and in the district, and because in the last 2 years we were co-champions with them. But but you got them in the tournament, which is all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So you're the number 1 seed going into the tournament. I'm going to get to, I know we don't want to talk about this, but we're going to talk about Cleveland game here in a moment. But you are the number 1 seed going into the tournament, which begins for the play-in ball games this coming Monday. It's at the Wildcat Arena, but we will not play until Thursday, 4:30. That'll be our first game. That's in the semifinals. And the boys are the number 1 seed too, so they're on Saturday too. They'll be playing at 7:30. So there'll be a game in between, but number 1 seed's a little bit different from being the number 2 seed, because if you recall, and I know you do, the last 2 years you have to face the 3 team, the 4 team. It's a little easier bracket when you're the number 1 seed.
It is. It definitely is. I was looking at that today when Paige sent it out. We'll end up playing either Clinton or Central versus playing a physical game like Campbell County again, which I think, it matters. Any game at this point is going to be tough,
right?
And everybody's going to come to play, because at this point it's win or go home, and we want to advance. And I think it's an advantage having it at our place. I think our girls are comfortable in our arena. It's and they're ready for it. They want to win.
Right. Coach, last night we went to Cleveland. We had played them at the Wildcat Arena on a Saturday afternoon about 3 weeks ago, and really played one of the better ball games. Beat them by 20, 25 points at our place. But last night was just, and they might have been riding a lot of emotion. It was senior night for them. It was a packed place, for one thing. Beating Oak Ridge is always a big deal. They came out smoking. Dylan, go ahead and roll the Cleveland highlights from last night. Beautiful arena. One girl, I think she hit 5 threes in the first quarter.
Yeah, she ended up with 6 for the game. So yeah, she shot it well. It
just was not your best game, and Coach Redmond told me after the game on the radio. She said, we can be either good or we can be bad. You haven't, unfortunately though, you haven't been bad very much this year. But last night was not one of your better efforts. Talk about that game.
No, we didn't play well, and we tell our girls all the time we're going to get everybody's best. And last night we got Cleveland's best, and we didn't respond well. We started out slow, and I think throughout this entire year, any game where we've started out slow, we've struggled.
Right.
And they came out and they shot it well. It reminded me a lot of the Powell game at our place. And we played really well against them at home against Cleveland, and I think we had a lot of confidence going in, but we just we didn't play well. We got beat around. We didn't guard well in transition. We didn't guard the ball well, and when you give up threes like we did, you're going to struggle to win.
One thing that you, as a team, is not a strength of your team is really guarding at the perimeter. That is not a strength of this team.
No, and we're working on it.
Yeah, I know.
Believe me, we're working on it, and it's something that we've had a lot of focus on these last couple weeks of practice, is just getting better defensively. That's something that our teams have been really good at. Mm-hmm. And we've struggled more this year, especially getting beat off the dribble and then kicking for 3. And it's something we've got to be able to lock down on in the next few weeks.
One thing I thought was a struggle last night is, Rajay's pretty good at getting rebounds, but it seemed like she really struggled, and about the whole team did, especially in the first half, to get offensive or defensive rebounds.
We did. I think we had 10 defensive rebounds total for the game.
Wow.
And that is so uncharacteristic of us. I mean, Rajay and Kamari both have been averaging probably 8 to 10 rebounds a game these last few games, and offensively and defensively we weren't there, especially with the amount of shots we missed. And granted, Cleveland made a lot of shots, but we did not pull boards, and that's part of our offense, is getting a rebound and outlet it and go. And we didn't get a lot of transition points.
I don't remember hardly any at all, to be honest with you. I mean, and they were quick on quick too, as Coach Pruden used to use that term all the time when I used to talk to her. But you lost the ball game. It's not the end of the world. It was not a district loss, and I guess the best thing to do is just put it behind you, because you got another one coming up tomorrow.
Sure do.
Another long road trip, this time to Ooltewah, to take on East Hamilton down in Hamilton County. East Hamilton played that Cleveland team, and it's played them tough. I mean, in the games they've played. So it's not going to be an easy picnic down in East Hamilton tomorrow.
It's not, and we wanted, our schedule is set up to where, when we're heading into postseason play, we needed and we wanted tough games down the stretch. It's going to prepare us in different game situations. East Hamilton, we watched film on them, and they're going to run a lot, 4 out, 1 in. They're going to try to attack us off the dribble and make us collapse, and that was our focus today in practice. We've got to keep them in front. To limit that, and we've got to be able to rebound. They crash the offensive boards really, really well. And those are going to be 2 keys for us tomorrow, is keeping them out of the paint and making sure, we keep them off the offensive glass.
Gracie didn't play a whole lot yesterday, but I thought she was one who actually did rebound in that game.
Gracie played really well for us yesterday, and she played well. She's played well the last couple of weeks. And, early on in the season, it was just about getting her back in shape. And we've been proud of her. She's come a long way.
Coach, you also have the senior night ball game, and you'll be saying goodbye to 4 seniors. Hopefully you'll have, at least you'll have the 2 district games, hopefully maybe even a region game, maybe even a sectional ball game at your place. So it might not be the last game. We know it's not the last game, but it is senior night for Talia, Selena, Bree, and Rajay. Your 4 seniors on the team, and it's always sad when they go.
And that group is really special, and they're unique because they bring a lot of different personalities and a lot of different things to our basketball team. And 4 girls I know that I've loved being around, and I know they're excited for that, but they're also they know it's winding down, and it makes everything that much more meaningful going down the stretch.
I know you don't really look but one game at a time, but you do have Fulton to play. That's a team that the last couple of years they haven't been as solid as they have been, but they're always dangerous because they're always usually athletic. And they're pretty well coached too. So that'll be a test for your team on Saturday too.
They are, and it's nice for us to see different teams going down the wire, and they usually throw something at us different defensively, which helps us down the road because we're able to prepare, and they are quick and they are athletic, which is a good matchup for us because not everybody we play is as quick as athletic as we are.
Coach, in a moment, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to let you go here in a few minutes. We really have a packed show, but in a moment, I'm gonna bring up David Scott, who you actually played against when he was the head coach of the Wildcats. But his Robertsville Lady Rams advancing all the way to the state tournament. They're in the Final 4 in the state of Tennessee in Class AA, I think middle school. We're going to bring him up here. And what an exciting time for them, and what an exciting time for Oak Ridge basketball, knowing that eventually a lot of those girls are young. I mean, you got some young girls playing on the Robertsville team, very few 8th graders, 1 or 2 maybe. But they're going to be Lady Wildcats someday, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully, and we're all about that. We're excited for them, and we know how special it is getting to play in any type of state environment, and hopefully they'll go down there and bring one back.
Coach, any final comments about the upcoming ball games and about the season in general? Just your thoughts.
I feel like we've had a really good season. We've had ups and downs, and we've had really good wins, and we've had some tough losses, and hopefully, going into this final stretch with postseason play, those will all benefit for us. And
Coach, I appreciate the time. Thanks for coming in. Lauren Trent, assistant coach of the Oak Ridge High School Lady Wildcats. Once again, they'll be down in action at East Hamilton High School tomorrow. That'll be a 6 o'clock ball game. We'll have the broadcast on the radio. We'll try to stream the video. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, Coach. We do our best, but we
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We'll try to have the broadcast for you tomorrow. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to be talking Robertsville Lady Ram middle school basketball. We'll be back with that in a moment.
Everything we do is in search of more go. If it can withstand 0 degrees, can it go -20? If it can run through 5 inches of water per hour, can it go to 6? We go. So it goes. So you can go. It's hard to stop a train.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Rinnai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do. Rinnai, hot water for all.
Train, extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling.
We're always moving. Scratch that. We're always moving forward. But forward can sometimes look a little backwards. Or like circles. Or like nothing at all. But we never stop. We never stop because life never stops. It's hard to stop a train.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do. Renai, hot water for all.
Train. Extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling.
Welcome back to Off the Glass, the Oak Ridge, we'll call it basketball show. I usually say Oak Ridge High School basketball show, but we've got middle school action. Both the boys and girls teams from the Robertsville Middle School advancing to the state basketball tournament. And joining me is the head coach of the Lady Rams, Coach David Scott. And Coach, who'd you bring with us here tonight?
I brought Lindsay Cleveland. She is our captain and goes by the nickname Mouse. She may be a nickname, but she does not play defense like a mouse, that is for sure.
Why do they call you Mouse?
When I was with AAU my first year, I got a lot of steals the first game, and the assistant coach was like, she's like a mouse getting the cheese. And so they stuck with it.
Okay. As I said, well, Coach, you and I were talking just in the break here. It seems like I have interviewed you in every possible position involved with basketball in the city of Oak Ridge. Boys coach, freshman coach, girls coach, Robertsville coach, varsity head coach, varsity assistant coach. You've been around.
And that is true. But the good thing about all that is all the great people I've gotten to work with starting with Coach Carringer and Coach Pruden, obviously, and then Coach Norris and the list, Coach Phil Hauer. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Learned a lot of different things. They all had different styles, so it's been fun throughout the years.
I'm going to talk Robertsville women's basketball in a minute. Lindsay, I'm going to tell you a story here. When he was in high school, we played Brainerd High School. You remember this, Coach?
Yes.
He lit it up for 40-plus points against Chattanooga Brainerd. It's in the top 10 and most points scored in a single ball game. Coach, what do you remember about that game?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was questioned today in practice if I could play any at all, so that was perfect timing on that. I remember that I ended up playing with one of those guys in college. He went on to play at a high level. He went to Austin Peay and played, and then I think he played some pro ball overseas, but we always laughed about it because, they were in the top 5 or 10 in the state at that time, and their coach was none too pleased when we beat them, so he had always remembered that.
Coach, you're headed to the state tournament. I think they've done this in middle school. Maybe this is the second year, I believe.
Yeah,
in middle school,
year.
they've had the tournament, so not so bad, Coach. You advanced a long ways last year, the middle school did, and this year. Talk about your basketball team and what's gotten you to this point.
Well, I would, it's cliche, I know, but it's really we have a mix of athletes that, that we have some that can shoot, some that play. They all play really good defense. Starting with Mouse, she sets the tone whether we're pressing or half court. We have a couple of 8th graders with Demetria, who's played a long time, Demetria Strickland, and Kate and Brooklyn. And then we have our whole group of 7th graders, and they are just a mix that go well together, and they play really, really hard. And I think everywhere we've been, we've had a lot of success and obviously won the late season tournaments, but won some earlier in the year. And I think that's what everyone is most impressed with is how hard they play and play together.
Coach, one thing that I've noticed about, and
And ignore the cheerleading on there.
I thought you'd appreciate that. One thing that kind of strikes me when I saw them play was that they reminded me of some of the Jill Pruden Lady Wildcat teams that just pressed, relentless pressure, just creating havoc on the floor.
Yes, and the good thing is they all have a high basketball IQ, so we can give different looks, whether it's, you know, just straight up man-to-man or, you know, playing all the way full court or 3/4 or half court. And that's another thing Lindsay does so well is she kind of quarterbacks all that. And then she's played with this group of 7th graders from with Ayana and Zay and Jenna, and a lot of them play on the same AAU teams. And then we have Lala, and so it's just a group they have a lot of fun together. And like we have Anaya who's played together, and so it's a good time. They work really hard.
That was scenes from your semifinal win over, I think it was Chucky Doak, and then you went to Norris Middle School this past, I guess it was Monday, and played.
Right.
What was it, New Center, I believe, maybe for the 400th time this year, and what a team that they had. They had a big girl inside that was really tough, and they had a lot of length. But your girls played them tough. I'll be honest with you, it was one of the most intense games that I've seen high school, all year in that championship.
Well, we played them. We had started the year out and been on quite a run, and then played them and lost by 2, and then probably had one of those learning moment games where they beat us by a lot. And we kind of regrouped, and that's when we really started to focus, when you say, Lindsay, on our mental toughness and some things like that, and came back and played them at Christmas time in a tournament in Knoxville, beat them there, and it was a closer game, then beat them in the area tournament, and then had that game there. So and that post player you're talking about, she is relentless on the boards, one of the best offensive rebounding posts I've seen in a long time. So
Lindsay,
that was a good win.
Lindsay, let's talk about the team. What's been the most fun for you about this team?
Us coming together. At the beginning, you know, we had some issues that led us to that loss in New Center where the team didn't come together. And then the drama at school, but that separated, and we really came together as a team. And once we did that, everybody started having more fun in practice, goofing off a little bit before the games.
That's what it's about. It's about fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
You guys will have some fun.
So I think that was the most fun for us, is getting together before the game, laughing jokes, keeping it calm a little bit.
Coach, what are her strengths as a player?
Her leadership, her ability to just continue to dial it up on defense. She has come a long way as a leader as far as bringing the group together. We've said all along that the thing that would limit us this year were our own limits. And so, you know, she is one that has not always wanted to shoot, but now is shooting, driving. We have some others, and we all have our thing that we've been working on, and that's what's been really fun to watch with this group is they've all grown doing, you know, realizing that they had to have that, realizing that they are the best when they're all together. And they're a deep team. We've played without everybody at least one game at different times and still been successful. So we don't rely on one person. We don't have one person that brings the ball up or one person that shoots. So it's a true team in every sense of the word.
Lindsay, what are your chances at the state tournament?
Chances.
Can you win the state? I mean,
Yes.
that's where you're going, isn't
We
it?
can win the state.
What's it
for
going to
sure.
take? What's it going to take?
It's going to take for us to, you know, put all of our differences to the side, come together as a group, let's watch our passes, you know, stuff like that, shooting more. But I feel like we could win. We will win, actually.
Coach, talk about the 4 teams. Obviously, you're in it. Obviously, do you know anything about the other 3 teams?
We do. We've had a couple. We've been talking to a couple people that, as far as the team that we play, it's I may be saying this wrong. Maybe Lawrence, and gotten a really good scouting report. It's almost, you hate to say it this way, but it's more of a typical Memphis team.
Mm-hmm.
Very athletic, but they don't really play at the pace we play. So I feel like we can cause them some frustration, get after it. They don't like to run the floor as much as we do. They do have a big girl. Like I told the girls today, if we can get the girl from New Center off the boards, we can get this group off the boards. but it'll just have to be a focus. And they're quick, but if we'll handle the ball and handle it as a team, we can beat their pressure, and then we shoot layups, can shoot some layups on the other end.
Lindsay, is coach and are they letting you out of school to leave early? You get to miss school on
Yes.
Friday. Is that one of the better parts of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess hotel stays. I mean, are you all getting to stay in a
Yes,
hotel?
we do, and there's going to be a little bit of a send-off on Friday, so it's going to be an exciting time. And I'll say this group has bought in and put in a lot of time, a lot of fun time, and they do it willingly. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and I really do believe the best is yet to come this weekend.
Coach, just in our final minutes, one thing that I noticed about this team is there's a lot of legacies on this team. And
Yes.
they are some of the greatest basketball players and athletes that have ever played at Oak Ridge. They're kids, whether
Yes.
it be female athletes as the mother or the dads. I mean, you talk about some legacies on your team.
Well, and I want to say this first, we were playing, speaking of New Center, over there in Knoxville, and we got down early, and there had been a little bit of a ruckus as far as some of the fans were upset, and they were just passionate about what was going on, and some of our kids were like kind of bowing, kind of cowering a little bit. I said, no, you all need to watch them. That's the kind of passion we need to have. That's what it's all about. And so out of that, we learned a little bit about, it's okay to have passion and be proud of what you're doing. So, whether it's from Kiki to Adrian and all these people, it's great to look up there in the stands and see all those people, and they know what it takes to do well. And even like Kate's mom won a state championship with Meigs County.
Wow.
So there is a lot of legacy there in that group.
Lindsay, just one more thing. What was it like playing in front of that loud crowd at Norris Middle the other day?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. We had fans yelling every time the other team made a layup, or when we came back, our fans are yelling. It was crazy. And then we had another cheerleader, as known as Miss Pat, who's over there screaming, doing high kicks, doing her
Is she the
stuff.
lady with the pom-poms?
That's our grandmother.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
she's really into it for sure.
So,
And
yeah.
that's what, we have a lot of people that are passionate about it, and I hope a lot of those people are able to get down this weekend and come and support them, because it's a true school-wide community group that people are passionate about, and you'll see people out in town, and they know about them and know how hard they play and are backing them and really behind them.
I appreciate you all coming in, and good luck Friday and Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
David Scott, Lindsay Cleveland, here as members of the head coach of the Robertsville Lady Rams, a member of the Lady Rams. We're going to turn our attention to the boys' side of things here. My co-host is about to take the big chair next to me, Jonathan Milloway, and we also have a couple twins that are going to be talking with us, Oak Ridge High School basketball. Appreciate you watching our show. We'll be back with more in a moment.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do. Renai, hot water for all.
Train extreme conditions testing. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling. On the Train test range, you learn what makes our heating and cooling systems so reliable. If there's a breaking point, we'll find it. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
I gotta go shower.
It's laundry night.
Dishwasher needs to run.
And the Hot Water Wars. A Renai tankless water heater gives you an endless supply of hot water for everything you need to do. Renai, hot water for all.
We're always moving. Scratch that. We're always moving forward. But forward can sometimes look a little backwards. Or like circles. Or like nothing at all. But we never stop. We never stop. Because life never stops. It's hard to stop a train.
Welcome back to Off the Glass, the Oak Ridge High School basketball show. Joining me is a member of the Wildcats Junior, Jonathan Milloway. Jonathan has been on the show before, and you've been co-host of the show before. It's an honor to have you back on the show
It's an honor
with us
to be
here.
back.
We also have, we'll switch to the other camera. We'll be getting to these guys in a moment. These are the Updegraft. Let's get the pronunciation on that. I've heard it, I say Updegraft with the T, not Updegraft. What is it exactly?
Up to graft.
Up to graft.
So there used to be an A in between the T and the G, but then someone took it out like generations before. So it's still pronounced the same way, but it's just up to graft.
That is Jameson Up to Graft, and that his brother Caden. We're going to come back and talk to you guys here in a moment. Jonathan, let's talk a little Oak Ridge High School basketball here.
Gladly.
Last night, we'll talk about last night's game in a moment. Look, going back to the district, you had already wrapped up the district with the win over the Dragons last Friday, and then a week ago, this past Friday, you went up to Campbell County, and the goal was, I guess, just to finish the season undefeated in the district. Talk about the team in the district play for sure, what it meant to be the district champions in the regular season, to go 14-0.
Well, it's definitely great to go 14-0 in the district and come out on top like that. We've seen the past few years that we've won the district outright and in the district championship, and we really just wanted to keep, I guess, that legacy going under Coach Green. And we went into that Campbell County game, and it was close at halftime, and we were having a little bit of trouble, and none of us were really worried because we really are a third quarter, second half team that really comes out in the second half with a lot of energy. But it was close. There was a good crowd there, and they kind of kept it close to start off with.
Pretty intense. It was a pretty intense crowd, too. I mean, it was their senior night. In fact, I was thinking about this. Tomorrow's going to be East Hamilton's senior night, and then our senior night on Saturday. So that's 4 straight nights of Oak Ridge basketball where you guys have had to kind of wait. Of course, our senior, that's him right there, Isaiah Johnson. It's Preston there, but we only have one senior, so it'll be a little quicker than Campbell County's. It seemed like every senior in that school was recognized for something up there Friday night. But Campbell County is a team that has struggled as of late. But you won't believe this, but years ago, they were a dominant force in our district, and they just hit on some hard times as of late. But, you know, you had still, stuff to play for here. And let's see if you hit this free throw. You know what I should have done? I should have actually put in shots of you missing them. I mean, that's actually probably more entertaining actually for the for the fans to be watching here. Maybe not necessarily for you, but you got a very deep team. Honestly, you've got some depth, and a lot of people question. You and I talked about this a couple months ago on this set. A lot of people question how good you guys would be because you lost a really fine senior class. Have you been surprised?
No, I have not. All the talk last year was how good are we going to be. It was the same as this year because we didn't have a lot of size last year. And I think we talked about it a couple months ago how we have a lot of juniors and our lone senior Isaiah Johnson, but we have a lot of juniors, sort of like a heavily upper class team. But like you said, we went out with that great senior class last year. And so a lot of the juniors that we have this year aren't necessarily like game experience. Like me, including myself, like I got minutes towards the end of last year more, but I was relatively inexperienced coming into varsity games this year.
I was honestly thinking about, go back to the Meigs County game. I think that was your first varsity ball game last year, and you're night and day better. What have you done to become a better ball player?
I've definitely gotten in the gym. I remember Coach Green talks about it to this day. In Meigs County, I had a 6-foot kid on me in the post, and I shot it up over him and hit the top of the backboard.
I actually remember that.
Yeah.
I should have put that on the
Yeah,
show.
you should have. That would have been a good one. But yeah, I've gotten in the gym. I've worked a lot. I've gotten in the gym with my teammates. It's been hard to get in the gym like all the time, every day, as much as I can. But like with the help of my teammates, encouraging to get the team better as a whole, and everyone to get in the gym, it's been really helpful.
So you're the number 1 seed going into the tournament. You won't play until 7:30 on Thursday, a week from tomorrow, or Saturday. I apologize for that. Tournament itself starts on Monday with the play-in ball games. How important is it to be the number 1 seed?
I think it's really important. Going into the district tournament, I'm not familiar with all the seeding right now. I know we're number 1 seed going into it with the regular season record, but I think it's really important to get that bye game in. And so that we can look forward to the games, like the important games later on, and watch our film and get ready for our next opponent.
Actually, being the number 1 seed, I think Carnes is the first team. I think they're the 4th seed. I think Carnes, Powell, and Campbell County are on your side of the bracket. Mm-hmm. Clinton, of course, is the number 2 seed, so they are opposite of you. You wouldn't play them until, look at this move by the big guy, Nick Dallas, spinning in there.
Nice finish.
Yeah. But you wouldn't play Clinton, I guess, until, there's one of our guests coming up in a moment. That's Jameson.
J-Mo.
Right there. You wouldn't play, but potentially you could probably play, Campbell County Powell or Carnes. Carnes is giving you fits. Carnes is a good team.
Yes, they have. And you kind of talk about that number 1 seed. I think it's important, but also playing in our home gym. I feel like we play a lot better in our home gym, as do a lot of teams. But I think going into the district tournament at Oak Ridge this year, I think is going to be a good upper hand for our team.
Well, let's talk about last night. It was you played the Cleveland Blue Raiders. Mm-hmm. They were 25-0, I believe, coming into the ball game. Number 1 team in the state. Played them tough at our place a couple Saturdays, about a month ago Saturday, or I guess the 18th of January. Had the lead over them at halftime in that ball game, and you were right with them in this game. It's 24-24, I think, at half last night. Talk about the Cleveland game last night.
Well, going back to what I said earlier, I think we do play a lot better in our home gym. So we were up by 5 at halftime, I think, because of the rally that we could get going there at the end of the second quarter that brought us into halftime. And then going to Cleveland, it's a big gym, big crowd, a difficult atmosphere to play in, and I think we started off very well. They had changed up a little bit of their defense to adjust to the post play. So I was getting double teamed a little bit more, but we were getting good looks to other guys off of the double team. And it was good going in at halftime, and then there were just a few crucial turnovers there. I guess it was towards the end of the third quarter. They gave them the lead. I think it was 10 going into the fourth quarter or something like that.
The foul on the 3-point shot kind of seemed to be the momentum booster for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like after that, it just kind of was a snowball that kind of rolled away from you all. Cleveland's a good team. I don't think they're. I think you can beat them. Honestly, I honestly believe you can beat them on a neutral court, maybe. But they are number 1. They haven't lost until they do lose. I mean, so you got 2 more games to go. And in the regular season tomorrow down at East Hamilton, they played Cleveland to a 4-point game last Tuesday. So they're going to be tough.
I think they will be too. I think they're a lot like Cleveland, off of athleticism and knowledge and of the game and how they play. I think we just need to keep our tempo up and keep the good looks. We put up a few bad shots in the Cleveland game that are similar to turnovers, honestly, in my opinion. But I think if we keep the bad shots to a minimum, we don't have a shot clock, so there's no reason to put up a bad shot. We need to take our time and get the looks that we need to get, and I think that we'll be okay against them.
Then on Saturday you play the Fulton Falcons, always a tough and always a big draw. Typically, last 2 times I think we've played them, they've had to close the doors because there's too many people in our arena, which is enormous.
Yeah.
Which is, I know that's always fun to play in front of big crowds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember we went to Fulton last year, and it was a really big crowd there. But I remember, I think it was 2016, I think it was T's senior year. Like you said, our arena is really big, and they had to close the doors before, I think it was before the game even started, because there wasn't even enough standing room. They couldn't let any more people in. So I think it'll be a really good game.
For several years, the team that actually lost the ball game played in the state championship game, and Fulton. We lost the state championship game to Blackman, I think in 14, and then the next year Fulton. Let's turn our attention to the guys sitting over here. As I mentioned, let's flip that. That is Caden on the left and Jamison on the right. Where'd y'all guys come from? I know you transfers. Talk about where you all came from.
Yeah, so we transferred here after the freshman year, going into sophomore year, from Columbus, Georgia. And we only lived there for 1 year. My dad was in the military, so we lived all over the place. But it was definitely a big and a really good transition for us. We went from a 0-23 basketball team to a really great program where, two coaches are polar opposites, and it's just been a really great fit for both of us, I'd say.
Pass that over to Caden here. Caden, first part of the year, you were the one doing the playing. I mean, you got the playing time. Jameson got to sit some. The roles kind of switched. Was it Powell? I'm trying to remember. You hurt Talk about your injury and what your role is now.
So my injury obviously was pretty devastating, I'm not going to lie, to not be able to play with my teammates and stuff. But, I feel like it's definitely put me in a position where I can be an even better teammate than I was before, and I can just, be the first one off the bench, giving guys high fives and stuff, and always being in the huddle on the bench, just cheering everybody on. Even though I'm not playing, I can still be a good teammate. So.
Well, let's talk about that 0-23 team and compared. You talked about the coaches. What about the environment playing in the gyms you played in around here in our arena and such?
It's definitely a lot more energetic because most of the games and we played in Columbus, there just wasn't really any big crowds, and I can tell that people here really take basketball seriously, which I think is awesome. And it's been really fun to play in front of these big crowds and stuff, so I think that's definitely a big difference from Columbus.
Jameson, you've been playing a lot more as of late. Let me explore your accents. They're not from around here, I don't think.
Maybe not.
Yeah, where were you born actually?
So we were born in Georgia actually. We were born in Georgia, Fort Benning, Georgia, and then 14 days later, at 2 weeks old, we moved to North Carolina, and then 2 years later, we moved to New York, then from New York to Kansas.
Wow.
And then from Kansas to Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee. It's about 10 minutes from Kentucky.
Fort Campbell, probably.
Yeah, Fort Campbell.
Yeah.
And then from Tennessee to Colorado, and then from Colorado to Alaska, and then from Alaska back to Georgia, and then Georgia to here.
That's crazy. I remember talking to Cole Adams, member of the football team. We were first time I saw you guys play, I guess it was Hardin Valley, and you weren't on our roster. And I Cole, who are these people right here? And then I'd seen your names on and I said, where are they from? And they said, everywhere. That's what Cole told me. So he was right. You are from everywhere. So what was it like going from base to base to city?
It was definitely hard at some point, having to leave your friends and the previous states that you moved from, but also it gives you a great experience and opportunity to make more friends and be more socially outgoing and, be able to adapt to certain situations where, people here have grown up here their whole life, and obviously that's not the case for us, so we're able to, make more friends and be a little more open with our friendship. I feel like that's definitely an advantage for us. So.
My question is, will you be here next year? I mean, will you be off and gone?
Oh, no. We're here to stay now. My dad has retired from the Army, and he's working now at Y-12, so we'll graduate from Oak Ridge.
I'm going to come back to you in a second. Jonathan, I want to ask you about them. What was it like kind of integrating them into the program?
The names were a lot. I mean, I know they're twins and everybody says, oh, which one are you? but they used to have a lot more similar hair, like especially when they came here. Caden had a little bit shorter hair, and Jamo had a little bit longer, so they were very similar. But Caden grew out his hair, and Jamo cut his hair, so you can kind of tell them apart a little bit more now. But a lot of people say like all twins are the same, but they're definitely very different personality-wise. Jamo's a little bit more quiet, Caden's a little bit more outgoing, and so it's good to like see that dynamic, not only as brothers but in the locker room too.
Guys, I got some other questions for you. They're a little bit slightly different, and
Slightly different.
yeah, well, they're slightly different,
Like
and because I've been around twins before, and I know I'm not going to ask you the questions that but I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What is the silliest question you have been asked about being twins?
Probably, I mean, I wouldn't even call it silly because it probably would be a good question for people who aren't twins, but to us, it just seemed kind of like outlandish. It was people asking if we had like the same dreams, or if we had like seen each other and like in our dreams before, something like that, or like had the same pain at the same time, which has actually happened, but
It has nothing to do with being twins, though.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was just purely coincidental.
Well, y'all are around each other all the time. What annoys each other about one another? Caden, what does Jameson do to annoy you, and just the opposite?
They're gonna start
But
fighting on
I told you you're gonna be on the spot.
Definitely, probably. He tends to be very serious sometimes, and I'm usually more of the fun one, and so I usually try and have a little bit more fun. And he's usually always either hits me or tells me to knock it off and stuff, and that gets kind of annoying because I'm like, "Come on, bro, lighten up." And
Jameson, what about Caden? I mean, he's.
I would say probably the most annoying thing he does is he's just very intrusive. So I'll be in my room and I'll just have my door shut, and he'll just like walk on in and just see what I'm doing. And we've shared a room for like 14 years, so I finally have my own room, and yet he's still in my room like half the time. So.
Do y'all have nicknames for each other, or
No, I don't really. Caden's just 2 syllables, pretty short, but I'd say mine is probably Jamo. Yeah, that's kind of my nickname.
Wait, I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
What's the best part about being twins?
Well, personally, just from a military background, just always having like a friend to rely on. Like when you're going into a new school, it can be very like nerve-wracking to make new friends, but me and Caden have been very blessed to always have one person that you can rely on in a new school. And I can't even imagine how like solo military children do it, because I don't think I would be that outgoing to actually like make more than enough friends. I feel like Caden could do some of the talking, and I would kind of just introduce myself to a couple people. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the best thing about being a twin for me.
I have a question.
You have a question for them?
For them, yes.
Okay.
Have you guys ever taken each other's spots in, say, like class?
Yes,
or in like situations?
We have been known to do that a couple of times. Actually, one time in Alaska, I specifically took his place and broke up with his girlfriend for him. And she had no idea. I just put on a hoodie and put my hood up, and I just went up to her and I was like, yeah, it's not going to work out. And she believed me, and then it was afterwards where a friend told her that she was like, that was the wrong twin. And then we just ran. Yeah, but it ended up working out for us, so.
Caden, what kind of jobs should Jameson do when he grows up?
Oh, definitely something in business, because he likes to yell at people. So business or like a lawyer, because he loves to argue, and I've been on the receiving end of it a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so he likes to argue with people, so definitely like a lawyer, something where he gets to argue with people.
Jameson, what should Caden do?
Definitely something like very social and kind of just like all about, like feelings. Maybe like a therapist or something. I don't know. Like he's very in touch with his feelings, which is not a bad thing. So like, yeah, probably like a social worker or like, a counselor.
I love how they say definitely.
Yeah. What's your all's kind of favorite kind of movies? You all have similar tastes in movies, TV, music?
I'd say my favorite movies are like action movies, just like Jason Bourne, John Wick, that type of stuff.
Very serious, business-like movies.
Just straight to the point, yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite sports besides basketball?
For me, baseball. So I've kind of made that transition from basketball now with my injury to playing on the baseball team, and that's definitely my second love, and I've been playing that just as long as basketball now. So,
Jameson.
My secondary favorite sport is probably football. I've never played football, but flag football, but that doesn't really count.
I'm surprised Coach Gaddis hasn't tried to track you down to play.
Oh, I would probably have to turn him down. I don't think my parents would let me. They don't like all the brain damage that people get. So, yeah, I really like to watch football. I've never played it, so I wouldn't be very good, but...
Question for both of you. What person, living or deceased, would you like to meet?
Can you take this first? Yeah, sure. For me, I would probably say Larry Bird. He's my favorite basketball player, and just to kind of talk to him and, it kind of talk to him about his work ethic and how he was always the first guy in the gym and the last guy to leave, and kind of what that did for his career and what it did for him as a person. So that's who I would choose.
Okay.
I would probably have to pick George Washington.
Okay.
Because I just want to know like all about his like war stories and like how he kind of what it was like being the first president of America and like what it was like being a founding father.
Serious, isn't he?
That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. What's your all's favorite ice cream?
I like anything with like peanut butter and chocolate. So like Reese's, like a Reese's ice cream, or I really like coffee ice cream, even though I hate coffee. I don't know why. I like coffee ice cream, but
It's a very serious ice cream flavor.
For me, I would probably say cookie dough. I mean, you just can't go wrong with it, so
Right.
that's what I would choose.
So far, what's your favorite memory as an Oak Ridge Wildcat basketball player?
Favorite memory probably just been this whole season, to be honest. Kind of the welcoming and embrace that the teammates have shown to us. Just two new kids. It's been really welcoming and really nice to have such great teammates and to just be a part of this program, and we're very thankful. So that's probably what I would say.
Besides the girlfriend breakup thing, any other kind of pranks you all have played as twins?
Yeah. Every April Fool's when we were in like elementary school, we'd used to always switch classes and stuff and kind of trick our teachers. And eventually they would catch on like later in the day, but we got them pretty good the first couple of years. So in elementary school, it was fun, but like we started doing it in like 7th and 8th grade, and at that point we were like getting in trouble for like skipping class. So eventually once we got to high school, we just had to stop because we would actually get in trouble.
No, don't stop. Keep it up.
I feel like we're too different now. People would tell.
Yeah, I think
When we were kids, like I couldn't even tell you who I was in a picture. Like I have no idea.
Mom would have to tell.
Yeah, mom's the only person who knows.
Have you all dated the same girl before?
I don't think so. No. I think we've had crushes on the same people, but like once one of them is like that one's mine, we're just like okay, and we're just like let them have them. Right?
Try to go for twins.
Oh
We
my
have dated
God.
twins before.
Well, how did that go?
It was confusing.
Yeah, I'd say
It
so.
was, yeah.
I would say for both parties, because
And it was weird when one set would break up and the other one didn't know if they should break up too or if they should stick together. So yeah.
Each one of you, greatest influences in your life.
I'd say easily the first one that comes to my mind is my dad. Just being a strict, he gets a lot of like backlash for being this like military dad, and like the big man himself, Nick Dallas, is notoriously scared of him. But yeah, he's an awesome guy, and he's not scary at all. Like he's intimidating physically, but he's an awesome person, and he's just someone that inspires me to be the best me, and just he played college basketball, and he just helps me strive to try to push myself and just become the best player I can be and the best teammate I can be.
Okay.
Well, since he took the dad, I guess I'll go with my mom. So
I guess I'll go with my mom.
I'll say my mom because she's everything she does for our family. It's just it's really inspiring, and just to see the compassion. You don't really appreciate it as a kid. You're kind of just like, oh yeah, this is what moms do. But as you grow up, you kind of start to realize that not everybody is as blessed as you are to have such a great mom who does all the wonderful things she does for you. So she's definitely amazing, and yeah, I mean that's probably all I'm gonna say.
Final question to you guys: do you all want to play sports after high school?
If I was given the opportunity to, yeah, I would say so. But if that's not the case, then it's obviously I love playing sports, but it's not going to be the end of the world if I don't play college sports, because I know it's a very select few of individuals who get to be able to do that. And I'm obviously going to work hard every single day to strive for that, but it may not work out. But yeah, definitely. If I was blessed to get a scholarship to a university, I would definitely take it. But at the end of the day, academics are way more important, and it'll take you much farther than any sport could. So if I don't get to play college ball, I'll just go to college and
get a business degree.
You guys
Yeah,
are just
get a business
sophomores, so I
degree.
mean, you got a lot of time.
Yeah.
What do y'all want to do, though? I mean, any study that when you go to college, or?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to become a lawyer of some sort. Not really sure what type of law I want to get into, but yeah, anything that you can argue with people for a living, it just sounds pretty fun. So for me, I actually have no idea. I think it's like you said, we're sophomores, so we have some time. There's definitely a lot of things that interest me, but I haven't really narrowed it down to one specific thing that I want to try. But yeah.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on the show, and I'm glad you're enjoying living in Oak Ridge. And thanks a lot. And good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Jonathan,
Blessed
you
to
have
be
any
here.
questions for them? We only have about 2 minutes left here, but.
I don't think so.
All right.
Well, Jonathan, let's you and I close it out here. You had East Hamilton, and then the tournaments. Your expectations for the next couple weeks?
I feel like it's definitely going to be a tough couple next weeks. I think we have to stay focused. I feel like we've done a really great job of buying into what Coach Green has been preaching since the beginning of the season, since last year, since the year before. I feel like we just have to stay focused and keep it in the gym and do our absolute best and play at the top of our game for these next few weeks.
Jonathan, I appreciate your time, and good luck tomorrow the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That's our show here. We appreciate you watching on Off the Glass. We'll be back next Wednesday with another show. I think you're scheduled to come back on again, but we'll see about that.
Awesome.
Appreciate you watching our show. Appreciate Dylan in the back. Until next week, until tomorrow's game, we'll be down in Ooltewah calling the ball game on the radio. This is David Clary saying so long, everybody.